My name is Phil Huckleberry. I am the chair of the Green Party of Chicago. And the reason that I and some of my friends are here today is because the Green Party of Chicago has voted to endorse Bob Fioretti for mayor of Chicago. We've been best known for our positions on environmental issues for a long time. I'd say in the last few years, the environmentalist aspect has actually been eclipsed by things like our support for public schools, teachers. I think in Chicago in particular, we've most closely aligned with the idea that our public schools and our public sector is under assault. One of our 10 key values is community-based economics, and I think that green politics kind of transcend any classic right-left stereotype. Our 4 pillars are social justice, nonviolence, grassroots democracy, and ecological wisdom. And if you look at what's happening in the city today, each of those 4 pillars are being violated by what's happening under the auspices of Rahm Emanuel's administration. What I think we'd really like to see in Chicago is we'd like to see a city that is working for everybody and where resources are actually applied in a way that benefits everybody. The TIF districts are probably the best example of this because the TIF districts literally siphon property tax money so that they can be given to wealthy developers, wealthy businesses, and where that money is basically coming out of are neighborhoods that don't have a lot going on. So we wind up with food deserts on the south side, and we wind up with no jobs to speak of across huge swaths of the city. If the approach that the city government used towards how the city is supposed to work was more focused on things like not improvement of existing mass transit, but expansion of mass transit. We're sitting on tremendous affluence, and at the same time, we've got incredible poverty all across the city. We've got thousands of CPS students who are literally homeless in a city where we've got TIF districts that are siphoning money off to firms on LaSalle Street. I think most people readily agree with that. The problem is they don't understand how to unravel that and how to fix that. And our attitude is it's just not that hard to fix some of the things that need to be fixed. When we think about where Rahm Emanuel is coming from and where Bob Fioretti is coming from and what that distinction is, I think of Rahm as the guy that said, we will have a position on the war when we need to have one. His concept of how to formulate politics was based on what's in it for me, what's in it for us, what's the angle, and there wasn't even any pretense that he was helping anybody or wanted to help anybody. Now that he's been mayor for 4 years and we've seen how that plays out in practice, the person who has been front and center standing up against that, and standing up against that from a position that mattered, has been Bob Fioretti. The way he stood up against him, the way that he's framed what's going on. In the context of a city council, it's mostly rubber stamps, because that's how it's been.
All you have to do is hit their head and they go up and down. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The time now is for change. It's a time for transparency.
To do that takes not just a certain bravery, but to do it in the way that he's done it. I have felt that over the course of his 8 years in the city council, he's gotten more of an edge about what it means to fight back against not just Emanuel, but to fight back against the money that's behind him, to fight back against the logic that's there. I think he gets it on a level that most people, even if they're opposed to those policies, they don't get how to bring the fight. That's what I really like about Bob Fioretti. My name is Phil Huckleberry. I'm chair of the Green Party of Chicago, and I am ready for Fioretti.